Hello, hi, welcome to the new video. Here in this video I am going to share another recent interview experience, and the interview was for 3 years of experience, and it is for DevOps role and first round of discussion. Let me go through the job description. Later on we'll go through the interview. Okay. They are expecting a experience with AWS services, CI/CD pipelines, and database management by using especially MongoDB, and configure like different AWS services, and version control system also they are expecting, and um like preferred skills are MERN stack, CI/CD pipeline, MongoDB, AWS. Good to have skills are Git, Docker, Terraform, Helm, and Kubernetes. Okay, so obviously if the profile suitable for this skill set, then only it will move further, right? So I will also fall in the same category, and then my profile move further. And first of all, I will discuss the list of questions. Later on, will consider my responses on this. Okay, so that will be somewhat easy to. Sorry, one moment. Yeah. Okay, let's see the questions. Can you briefly describe your DevOps experience over past 3 years? And the next question was, what kind of applications or systems have you deployed and maintained? Which AWS services have you used in your DevOps project? How would you deploy an MERN stack, MERN or Java-based application using AWS? How do you manage access control and security in AWS? How do you monitor and log AWS resources? What CI/CD tools have you worked with? Can you walk me through a CI/CD pipeline you built from scratch? How did you handle failed builds or deployment in your application, in your pipeline? Sorry. What strategies do you use for rollback and error handling? What branching strategies have you used in version control? How do you handle and resolve merge conflicts? How do you integrate Git with your CI/CD pipeline? How do you manage MongoDB in a production environment? What strategies do you use for MongoDB backup and recovery? How do you monitor and optimize MongoDB performance? Have you deployed both Java and MERN stack applications? What are the key steps in deploying a containerized MERN stack applications? What's your approach for achieving zero downtime deployment? How have you used Docker in your development or deployment workflows? What is your experience in Kubernetes in production level? How you use Terraform to provision infrastructure? What is Helm and how did you use it in Kubernetes deployment? A staging deployment fails. How do you troubleshoot that? Your MongoDB instance is using high memory. What do you check first? A pipeline is taking too much long time to run. How would you optimize it? How do you handle high pressure situations like production outages? How do you stay up to date with the latest DevOps tools and practices? Yeah. Have you mentored or onboarded junior team members, and how did you do that? Do you have any questions for us? Yeah, these are the all the questions which was asked in the interview, and I was noted down. And yeah, moving to the responses, regarding brief describe your DevOps experience over past 3 years. These responses, why I am doing these responses was basically if you don't have a kind of obviously everybody won't get to work on each and every aspect of end-to-end demonstration of any life cycle, like software development life cycle. Okay, so you might be miss in somewhere, or you might be work in some part of the software development life cycle or the DevOps part. So for them especially, these responses will be helpful. Okay, so if you're not required, then I mean, this video is not for you. You can skip this part, just only watch the till questions part. Okay, so moving further to our responses, can you briefly describe your DevOps experience over past 3 years? You can answer in such a way like, I have worked with AC2. Sorry. Over last 3 years, I have worked with as a DevOps engineer, focusing on AWS infrastructure creation, CI/CD pipeline management and development, and development and management of containerized based deployments. And I have built and maintained a Jenkins pipeline by using pipelines by using Jenkins and GitLab CI/CD also, and managed the MongoDB database as well, and deployed a MERN application and as well as Java applications using a Docker and Kubernetes. And I also written a Terraform scripts for AWS for provisioning and for infrastructure provisioning, and used the Helm chart for application deployment on EKS. And moving to the next question, what kind of applications or systems have you deployed and maintained? I have worked with the EC2, S3, AWS services to maintain and deploy different microservice applications, which is developed in as a MERN stack, and Java applications. So these are the different kinds of applications I have worked. And next question was, which AWS services have you used in your DevOps project? I have worked on, and in my current project also we are using AWS primary services like EC2, S3, IAM, Identity and Access Management, CloudWatch also, and RDS as well as EKS. Basically, EC2 is for hosting the applications, and S3 we are using for storing and maintaining versions of artifacts, especially the build artifacts, and some static content, whatever the results are need to be stored. And IAM is for a role and policy management, identity and access management. CloudWatch is for monitoring logs and metrics, and EKS is for containerized orchestration platform, where Docker containers will be managed through the EKS. And moving to the next question, how do you deploy a MERN or Java based application using AWS? Basically, I used to containerize the MERN application and Java application using a Docker and push the images to a AWS ECR. Then I deploy it to an EKS by using a Helm charts. Here, MongoDB can be self-hosted on EC2 or managed by some other Atlas, and I use application load balancer with the Route 53 for DNS and HTTP via ACM. And the next question was, how do you manage access control and security in AWS? For managing access control and security within the AWS, I use IAM roles and policies to implement the principle of least privileges. I enable MFA for two-factor authentication, use the security groups and NACLs, and manage the secrets by using AWS secret manager or some SSM parameter store to securely store the credentials. And moving to the next question, how do you monitor and log AWS resources? I use CloudWatch for metrics and logging purpose. I set up alerts for CPU as well as memory and application traffic logs if any specific logs are required, and that will be integrated with SNS for notifications, simple notification service, and that will trigger a notification to the respective persons like developer or concerned authorities. The next question was what CI/CD tools have you worked with? I have worked with Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, and GitHub Actions also is familiar with that. And Jenkins is my primary CI/CD tool for complex pipelines. We used to develop the script within Jenkins only. And the next question was, can you walk me through a CI/CD pipeline you have built from very scratch? One of the project I created GitHub Actions pipeline that runs on push based mechanism and perform linting operation and build a Docker image and then run a tests and pushes the image to a ECR repository. Then it triggers the Helm based deployment to the EKS service. And the next question was, how do you handle a failed builds or deployments in your pipeline? I use pipeline stages with the proper error handling and notifications. If a stage fails, it stops the pipeline and sends the alerts via a simple notification service which is configured like Slack or email like that. The next question was, what strategies do you use for rollback and error handling? I use Helm rollback feature in Kubernetes for EC2 based applications. I keep AMI snapshots and also I will maintain a previous stable Docker image for whenever manual rollback is required. Okay. And what branching strategies? I'm answering, yes, a small note here. I'm answering in such a way, like simple format, so that you won't get confused or think twice whether what exactly I was answering. Okay. And moving to the next question, what branching strategies have you used in version control? Sorry, one moment. What branching strategies have you used in version control? I follow Git flow for future as well as development and release, and there is a hotfix branches also, and it will basically helps in managing releases and isolating bugs and performing patches and maintaining a kind of version control. Okay. And have you handled or resolved merge conflicts? Basically, to I review a conflicts line by line, coordinate with the team members if needed, and attest after the resolution, and commit once the request is verified only. How do you integrate Git with your CI/CD pipeline? I configure a GitHub webhooks to trigger a pipeline on events, especially like a push or a PR request, and I also use Git tags and commit messages for versioning and release tracking purposes. And the question regarding the database part, how do you manage, how have you managed MongoDB in a production environment? I have used MongoDB alerts. There is a alerts setup welcome and self-hosted setups. I set up replica sets and enable a authentication and automate a backups and monitor the usage of what exactly the usage of the metrics by using some external tools also. What strategies do you use for MongoDB backup and recovery? For self-hosted setups, I use MongoDump and Mongo Restore with scheduled cron jobs, like cron jobs, and storage on S3, and I will definitely rely on their managed backup service also. How do you monitor and optimize MongoDB performance? Uh, I monitor slow queries, especially, and check for unindexed fields, and track the memory usage like metrics, system metrics, and use the like mongo top command and mongo stacked in self-hosted setups, and view the metrics dashboard also. That will helps to optimize like what exactly and where exactly it was lagging. We will get to know, and we can optimize accordingly. Have you deployed both Java and MERN stack applications? Yes, I have deployed both Java by using Spring Boot and like Tomcat also, and MERN application by using Docker and Kubernetes. And what are the key steps in deploying a containerized MERN stack applications? If you see the flow, like small note here. If you see the flow, there are some follow-up questions. It is like that question. Okay. Coming to the question, what are the key steps in deploying a containerized MERN stack application? The key step we can say was build Docker images and push to the ECR, define the Kubernetes manifest or Helm charts, and deploying using kubectl or Helm chart, and expose the services via the ingress or load balancer, whatever we are using. What is your approach for achieving zero downtime deployments? I use rollback updates in Kubernetes with readliness and liveliness probes, blue-green and canary deployments, blue-green or canary deployments, depending upon the application criticality, I can say. Have you, one moment. Have you used Docker in your development or deployment workflows? How you use, basically it was asking how you use Docker especially. I write Docker files and build the images and run the containers. This was the flow. In the locally for development as well as testing, and deploy them into a production using EKS and ECS services. And if there is any requirement like performing scan for the Docker images, we do the same also, which is through the CI/CD pipeline approach. What is your experience in Kubernetes in production? I have managed workloads in EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, and that includes the creating of deployment services, config map, and secrets. I have also used a horizontal pod autoscaler and ingress with Nginx controllers. And have you used Terraform in provision of infrastructure? Yes, I have used Terraform to create VPCs, EC2, EKS clusters, IAM roles also, S3 buckets as well, and I followed module-based core structure where the modules will be defined and will be reused those modules, and also maintained a state files securely. And what is Helm, and have you used it in Kubernetes deployment? Helm is a package manager within Kubernetes. I have used Helm charts to deploy and update applications, passing custom values for different environments. The next question was, a staging deployment fails. How do you troubleshoot that particular deployment? Basically, I will check the pipeline logs and container logs also by using command kubectl logs, and describe pods to inspect events. Then I verify the YAML files and manage the versions. And moving to the next questions, your MongoDB instance is using high memory. What do you check first? I will check slow queries especially, and unindexed fields, and like memory hungry operations, like wherever the memory is using high for which application, operations, and we'll also check the what is the status of replica sync, and I will also review the logs and consider optimizing the queries and or scaling the existing like instance specifications. Okay, and a pipeline is taking too long to run, and how do you optimize it? These are a kind of scenario based questions. Okay, first of all, whenever the pipeline is taking too long, I will definitely analyze the time per each stage, and use the caching for dependencies, and run the test in parallel instead of like one by one, and that will avoid unnecessary steps length, as well as unnecessary step run time. Okay, basically, and it will build parallelly, and that will ultimately reduces the build time. And the next question was, how do you handle high pressure situations like production outages? Yeah, basically I stay calm and gather the logs and metrics of the particular error, and I will make sure to inform the communication to the respective stakeholders, and work step by step with the team by collaborating with the team. And after the resolution, I will definitely perform root cause analysis and document the fixes that will be helpful in future to not to to easily like verify and come over again that issue in the future. Okay, and yeah, moving to the next question, how do you stay up to date with the latest DevOps and tools practices? I follow blogs and GitHub repositories projects basically, and also follow the communities like DevOps and Medium blogs also, and I will attend the meetups and webinars, and I also take online courses regularly whenever I wanted to know what is the recent developments or trends or news. Okay, and have you mentored or onboarded a junior team member, and how did you do that? Yes, in my previous role, I have helped new team members to understand our CI/CD setup, and guided them through the infrastructure basics, and assigned a small tasks, and reviewed their workflow and educated them accordingly as per the requirements. And the final question was, do you have any questions for us? Basically, I will majorly in most of the interviews I will try to ask about what is the current like project structure, basically like team structure, and the project is serving for which industry, basically like fintech, financial service industry, or some medical industry, or some like microservice, sorry, I mean whatever the basically industry they serves, I will ask about those details. It's not bad in asking those. Okay, you can ask those details. Yeah, I think these are the questions I was faced in the interview, and yeah, I will definitely provide these questions in the description. Kindly check it out and do follow for more updates and further discussions. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.